2 years into my divorce, and we were set to go to trial a week away. And I was so excited. I'd been praying for this moment. I could finally move on with my life. And COVID hits, and the courts shut down indefinitely. I was like devastated. And on top of that, like a month prior to this, my coach who had guided me through my entire divorce had passed away. Done. I was like, oh my gosh, my whole life just shattered. I didn't know what to do. This was a turning point in my life. I finally decided to step up for myself and make change in my life for myself. I had been putting everything on hold and molding my life around this. And I was like, no, I need to change. And so what did I do? I actually attended like a virtual workshop with a coach. And at the end of it, he was like, oh, you should hire me and we should work together and I can help you through this. And I was like, oh, great. That sounds great. How much does it cost? And he's like, $9,000. And I was like, oh my God, that's insane. I've never invested that much in myself. I mean, I could barely even, invest in a yoga class here and there, without feeling guilty, right? And taking time away from my children, all this stuff. And it's like, okay, but you know what? I knew I had committed just then. I was like, I need to invest in myself. I need to do whatever it takes to create a better life for myself, and I'll do whatever it takes. Have you ever experienced something like that?
Oh, all the time. All the time. Yeah, when I was 25, I made a strategic decision to move into my car to save on rent, to get out of debt and get, back established again. And after about a year of that, I went to a seminar. This was back before COVID when you could actually go places in person. And I went to an in-person seminar. And there was a moment during lunch break. It was a one-day thing at the Marriott, and everybody was breaking for lunch, and he was about to say, hey, come back afterwards, we'll talk about this. And he's like, and by the way, if any of you want to work with me, here's what it looks like. And he went on the board and he's like, all right, you get this, 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 you get this. It was like 5 calls with me, my books, and like a 1-day event, 2-day event, and here's the price. Now the price he wrote on the board was twice as much money I was making in a month.
Oh my God, 2 months worth.
2 months of pay was that amount. And I was like, oh, that's just impossible. But then what's interesting was I started watching people get out of their seats and like go over to the table and start filling out forms. And I was like, is this actually happening? Like people do this? Like people actually invest 2 months pay into getting help from someone? So I walked out, because I'd never even heard of this before, and I walked out in the Marriott, I got a chair, I had my little peanut butter and jelly sandwich, eating a Ziploc bag in a chair, and I'm watching all these people having their $45 French fries at the Marriott, and I'm thinking, well, whatever they're doing is obviously working better than what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is getting me here. And then I thought, well, how am I ever going to find the money to do this? So I had an hour, so I was like watching them, like all these nice people dressed up nice, I'm just like, how could they justify that kind of money, even on French fries, let alone investing in a mentor or a coach or a consultant? So I just thought like, well, this guy's a millionaire. He's been through the journey that I'm trying to get through. I bet if I talked to him personally, he could probably help me. And so I came back. Okay, so during lunch, I called all my credit card companies, and I'm like, hey, because at that time I was $22,000 in credit card debt and living in the car. At that point, it's like, well, what's another X $1,000 if this is the thing that's going to turn the tides for my whole life path? And I kind of had to frame it that way. Like, if I did this, where would things go? And if I didn't do this, where would things go? And I called all my credit card companies. I was like, hey, can you raise the limit like $500, $1,000? And I called all 7 of them. And you might be thinking like 7 credit cards. I have, I think, 14 or 15 credit cards right now. There's another video you can watch on my whole idea about debt and credit cards and how you can use them to your advantage. But anyways, I called a bunch. 5 out of 7 said yes. They raised the limit so I could make more purchase. So anyways, I walked back in after lunch, and I was like, finish the seminar. Everybody leaves the place. It's just me and the coach. And I walked up super embarrassed, by the way, super embarrassed. It's just like, so I want to hire you, but I have to use 5 different credit cards to pay that amount today. And he's like, oh, that's normal. What's the first card? was like, that's normal. Okay, so I didn't know it was normal apparently to use 5 credit cards to hire someone. I was like, okay, so there you go, 1,000 on this one, 1,500 on this one, and swipe. And then he gave me the goodie bag of the books, and he's like, okay, I'll call you in 2 weeks and we'll set up our first session. And I was like, holy smokes! So I walk out of there like, this is literally insane. But then the next morning I was like, what did I just do? Craziness. But that one person, over the course of 5 months working with them, totally shifted stuff. And we'll make some videos, and there might be some videos on things I've learned from these kinds of people in my life that save you guys tens of thousands of dollars on personal development. But it's been monumental, because there's things I use every single day. And if you've seen the video where I talk about overcoming the fear of the ocean, if it weren't for his wisdom that I got 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to get out of my panic attack in the ocean and get back to shore. Who knows what that have led to. So life-changing, life-saving advice. But yeah, I think when you're ready for a change, you're ready for a change. If you're thinking about changing something, if you're sick and tired of the way things are going, like I was, like you were, waiting for the courts to get their act together, waiting for a court date, waiting for the attorney to do some magic bullet or something, it's just like you took control of your life and you sought out help and you got results and you moved on. Yeah. Versus like a lot of people, it's fine. If you don't need to get help, it's fine. But if you're doing something that's like big, like if you got a big goal that needs big initiative, like taking a big journey. Nobody does journeys by themselves. They shouldn't. It's dangerous. It's scary. I was watching Lord of the Rings recently. Like Frodo does not go alone to Mount Doom. He's got Sam. He's got all these people, all these leaders helping him, kings and people that guide him along the way, encourage him, give him food and support, weapons and armor. But magic spells, exactly. Magic. Got to bring magic. Got to have magic. We'll talk about magic later. But wearing sparkles is also magical. But if you feel like you're ready for change, you're looking at like an area of your life or whatever you're thinking about that needs to be changed, that's the clue. It's like if you're out there happy right now living your dream, then you're good to go. But if there's something that you want to change or fix or resolve or move on from, that's the thing to be like, well, I guess if you're thinking about it, that's the clue. That's what I always think. It's like, do I need help with this? It's like, well, that's a clue that you've received that for a reason. Should I start this business? Should I start dating again? Should I get divorced, whatever the situation is, or get help or get a new attorney, or I want to lose weight, whatever that thing is that you're thinking about, it might be worth finding some assistance to get that done. Because the cool thing about achievement is there's 2 phases of achievement. There's the wanting phase, then there's the acquiring phase. I want to get right to the acquiring phase, right? So it's like we want this. I'm thinking, what's the fastest way that I can just get things done and move into the enjoyment phase? Because once we get to the enjoyment phase, I was even thinking like a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I was like, we have so many cool things we're doing in the business that we have and growing and all these wonderful things. But I was like, man, I'm just trying to get the next level. I'm like, man, I got to sit back and take a second and be like, look where I got 10 years ago, living in a car, have my dream life, dream girl, dream business, dream cool things, dream clothes, a lot of fun stuff. But I didn't have that 10 years ago. I had a lot of debt and a lot of scarcity and a lot of fear and a lot of darkness. But, we can change our life. And there's a video you can watch on, you can do it. And here's why I know you can do it. But it's getting a bit long, so we'll cut it short. But any last
No, that was
ideas?
wonderful. Thanks for elaborating on that. I love it.
Yeah, anybody can change your life. You just start with yes now, and you go for it, and you get. What do they say? Struggle is required, suffering is optional. Yeah. So just get past suffering, get out there, get it done, move on, and go to the next thing that you want to do. I like checking off goals. I don't like sitting there struggling with them. Like, find someone that can support you, whatever that is. Get a team, a mastermind, a group together, a coach, mentor,
make
a
it
program,
happen.
something.
We have the power to change our lives.
Yeah, don't do it alone. You don't need to.
No.
I didn't do it alone. I got help.
Got your help too.
See you soon.
Bye.